I just feel like there needs to be more filth, to kick us in. But
Do you want me to tell you why I'm late? I'm late because I had to pick up my dog's poo with a massive leaf that broke apart halfway through picking up the poo. Because I didn't have any bags. I just washed my hands.
and there it is.
Do you know what, Caroline? I have been in that situation many times where I'm just kind of like, I don't have any bags and there's someone watching me. The other day I found a metal clip on the ground and I just sort of like started doing that. But then
Like a bull clip?
it kind of like to try and flick it off into the gutter, but then it kind of broke apart and the whole thing was Jesus.
Well,
no.
after saying
There wasn't enough filth.
I regret it. Welcome to So Uncouth, a podcast filled with conversations you can't have in polite company, and every week that becomes more and more correct. I'm Victoria Hannaford, a recovering journalist. I'm with Caroline Craig, an actor and dog walker in her spare time.
Yeah.
Pooper scooper.
We're with our friend, the mysterious Bunsen burner, who's got some great dance moves, but her best is, and no one saw this coming, the twist.
Oh.
We are three friends who live in three different cities, so you're joining our weekly catch-up and we're delighted you're here with us. Now, Bunsen, as you have said many times before, our area of expertise is usually ourselves.
Correct. You know, like they say 10,000 hours? I've put more than 10,000 hours into myself.
You've done a PhD in Bunsen.
Exactly.
It's also probably the only area of knowledge in which we can't be challenged.
Oh, no, you can. I can challenge you.
Well, this week I thought we'd do something a little bit different. We're going to flip the script.
Please.
It's all about the couth.
Oh, love it.
Oh, they're out there.
And a little bit about us. Sorry. A little bit about us in the sense that we're going to get under the hood of So Uncouth a bit, let the listener get to know us a little bit more.
Because we haven't spent enough airtime talking about ourselves.
We're going deeper, Bunsen.
Oh, my God. Okay, can't wait.
It's a deep dive.
Okay. Now, firstly, I want to take in a listener email
Okay.
that has a bit of a question in it. It's a bit of a two-parter.
Sorry to interrupt because I just can't help it.
Talking stick back to you, Bunsen. Go.
At least you're honest about it.
Does Caroline read the email in a special voice?
She will read the second part of it. So I'll read the first part and then there is a dilemma. So this is a fantastic email from a loyal member of the Couth who emailed us at souncouthpod@gmail.com. That's all one word. She did have a header, long-time listener, first-time emailer.
Yeah.
Hi, Uncouth ladies. Loving the podcast. If you get a heat map of where your listeners are around the world, I hope there is a little dot in Accra, Ghana, for me. Would be interested to know where else in the world you have dots on the map, assuming you get this in your metrics. Dunno how these things work, ! Just writing to say that there is a lot more fart talk than I was expecting. I commend you for that. And this is from a loyal listener named Zoe.
Yeah.
So, look, we are on a journey. I don't know if you guys know this, but we are global. And I wanted to bring...
Well, I had no idea that we had a listener in Ghana.
I know. So I wanted to do a bit of a journey of global appeal with one quite significant omission, and we'll get to that at the end. Here's where we have listeners.
Okay.
Australia. No surprises there. We also have listeners in the US, in Ghana. That does come up on the map, so hello to you, Zoe. In the UK, Canada, Thailand.
Really?
Thailand.
Vietnam.
Really?
Wow.
Italy, Spain, Denmark, Morocco, Hungary, Portugal, France. We also have listeners in Ecuador and Peru. But Bunsen, what I've noticed is that we do not have listeners in Argentina. And I want to know if there's a reason for that. I want to know, was there a bad breakup involving you and Argentina? Did you leave the country on good terms?
Oh, Victoria, I don't know if I can actually even talk about this. We have talked about the blocked plumbing, haven't we?
So is that the issue? So Bunsen, we don't want to reveal too much about your past and your international mystery and intrigue. But what was it that led you to Argentina in the first place? You were there as what?
An estudiante. Intercambio. An exchange student. I can reveal
She's
that.
multilingual, people.
I mean, I may have gone back subsequently in other capacities. I don't think it's in the public interest for me to talk about that.
Wow. The mystery continues.
So, yes, I was an exchange student. And as I was actually talking about this with someone the other day about the weird nature of these kind of like you live with another family for a year.
At age
They-
what? 16?
Well, I was 15 when I got
so
there.
young.
Yeah, I know. Is it child abuse? I don't know. I mean, nothing untoward happened. I don't mean in that way. I just mean it was really young. Anyway,
Yeah, it's so young.
The thing is, I always think it could be bad. Like something could so easily go wrong,
100%. Yeah.
but also it could also go so right, as it did with you.
Well,
so let's hear
did
more.
it? Did it? I don't know. But basically, the weird thing is, right, is that you call like we had exchange students who lived with us, my family, for a year, 3 of them a year at a time, and each of them called my parents mum and dad. And my
Wow.
dad still refers to, his Thai grandchildren, his
Wow.
Danish grandchildren. And so I also called my host parents in Argentina Mama y Papa.
Oh, that's great.
Could you speak any Spanish before you hit the shores?
No, none.
Really, none?
I could say ¿Dónde está el baño? Which is where's the toilet? Always.
Probably the only phrase that you needed, really, from where to
Well,
go.
if I had to choose one, it had to involve some kind of, emergency bodily function, obviously.
Yeah, I think that's a critical thing, and maybe you overused it.
Oh, listen, I learned a lot. I just have, it's.
What's this look of pain, Bunsen?
Oh, it's
I
just
want to
one of the
interrogate
most
it.
shameful. It's probably the thing I'm most ashamed of in my life. I can't
Really?
really talk.
Okay, that's fine.
I remember you've talked to me about it, and all the kind of images I have are like of those scenes in Dirty Dancing where babies dancing Patrick Swayze. That's what I imagine.
This is not about when I was in Argentina. It was about after I came home.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, I thought you had some times.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you the story, and
Mhm.
and Victoria, we can decide if we're going to use it, because honestly, it's like if someone says to you, "What is the worst thing you've ever done?" I
Yeah.
actually think this is possibly the worst thing
Okay.
I've ever done.
We can protect you if we need
Gosh.
to.
I
You've done
know.
some pretty bad stuff. I'm
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to know if I've heard this before, or whether you've been keeping it to yourself for like the 30 years that we've known each other, Bunsen.
Yeah, so basically, when you're in Argentina, you have to be kind of like it's a very specific kind of form of femininity. I was wearing makeup every day. I was wearing jeans that went up your bum. It was a whole thing, right? I came home and then I got a boyfriend, and I started playing drums in a band, and I shaved my head, and I was,
This is where she got her undies from.
Exactly. This was basically the only reason I was in the relationship was to just get some undies that would see me through the next decade and a half.
Reason enough.
Anyway, and so I was living this life that was a very different kind of life to what was acceptable in Argentina. And my host parents called me and said that they were going to come and that they were going to visit, which is a massive thing because they would have they didn't have that much money, but that they were going to stay with us in my parents' house for 3 months over summer.
Ooh, that's a long time.
And I just did not know how to negotiate. I don't want them to come for 3 months. I want to have my summer. I think it was the summer between year 12 and uni.
Oh, yeah, that's a weird time.
I want to, that
Become an adult.
Yes, but also they're not going to, like, their Spanish daughter or their Argentinian daughter has become something like it would have just been so much of a cultural clash. I just didn't feel like
doesn't
I could
exist anymore, effectively.
handle it.
Yeah.
And so I just never returned their calls, and I've never spoken to them ever again,
Oh,
Wow.
which is really bad. It's possibly one of the worst things I've ever
yeah,
done.
I've got some like that.
So, so I just kind
Well,
of
we've all
that's
done
what-
stuff like that. I've done stuff like that.
I feel
to actual relatives.
I feel pretty. I really feel kind of
Okay.
I feel pretty awful about it.
Let me flip the script for you, Bunsen. Can we make a blatant suck job appeal to Argentinians?
That's nice. Can we build a bridge?
All I'd like to say is that the door is always open to not only Argentina to become members of the Couth, to many other nations as well.
I've always wanted to go there. I've always wanted to go to South America and
This is the thing. So I want
Yeah.
to improve our geographic footprint, because if we ever go on tour, I want to go to Argentina.
I want to go to Buenos Aires. That's where I'm going, even if no one's listening.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this Argentinian relationship, whether you like it or not. I'm going to get them on board. This is my mission. I've got to stuck in my craw now. I want Argentina because I want to go there when we finally go on a world tour.
Yeah. And my only image of you is in some very, very tight jeans, dancing, just dancing and dancing the night away.
Oh, yeah.
And having some romantic times and there being some beautiful live music. I mean, that just sounded very attractive to me.
Well, I also did an exchange in this was in the days before email. So I had lots of letters. Like I still have a whole box of letters. But my parents had this thing where they were kind of like, we think it will be too disruptive if we call you all the time.
Oh.
So I think I spoke to them once or twice in an entire year. And
Yeah.
then I
think
just,
that's great.
well, is it? I mean,
And did you write to them all the time and they wrote to you? Is that what happened?
yeah. And I
Nice.
should go back and I do have a box of letters somewhere. Maybe I'll bring some of them out and we can read some of them. Oh, you know what I could read? Some of my diary. I'm pretty sure I kept a
now
diary.
that's
Wow.
the kind of so uncouth content I'm ready for.
I want that.
Oh
I
my
really
God.
want that.
I don't even know if I can. Oh, yeah, I've definitely got a diary. And I remember at one point in time I started writing in Spanish.
Well,
Oh, wow.
Well,
I mean, that's just next level.
but I
That's
may
just
not be able to
so
understand any
impressive.
of it now. So that could be a blessing.
it may or may not improve our chances of getting Argentinian listeners. So
listenership.
we'll keep an eye out for that. Okay. Well, thank you, Bunsen.
Yeah, but I really appreciate your candor. You know,
Yeah,
that's what this whole pod is about.
Yeah.
It's about demystifying the misty regions of the shame and guilt-ridden lives that we lead. We need to expunge. That's what we're
Yeah.
here for.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh man, I've done some bad stuff. I've done bad things.
And we've heard all of those bad things, Caroline.
We haven't even scratched the surface.
Now, the lovely listener Zoe did have a second part to her email. Caroline, if you would like to check your email.
I'm so excited that we have a loyal listener in Ghana. All right. My uncouth question is whether you tell someone when they have food stuck on their teeth or something stuck on their face, or do you just ignore it? Have you ever been the victim of someone not telling you? I ask because I just did a presentation at work and realized afterwards that my eye makeup on one eye had smudged in the heat so that I had a Clockwork Orange vibe for the whole thing. Yours, Zoe. I know that feeling well.
Can I just say, this is so, maybe not bizarre because every day I have food down my front, right? Literally, even
I
this
thought
morning.
it was on top of your bra. Like you guys keep talking about your stained bras. Now you got stained shirts.
It permeates.
Oh,
okay,
disgusting.
but this is what I was thinking. We'll get to her dilemma in a second. I don't know whether it would be polite for someone to point it out because literally it's a daily occurrence. And I look down and I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's always food. Actually, I don't even know what it is, but something
You're saving it for later, aren't you?
something is
I know.
stuck to my front. And I thought, could I get in the business of adult bibs?
I think that you could just have it, just get a tea towel and use it as a napkin when you eat. Just tuck it into your
At work?
Yep.
No, I don't know if that's okay.
Just go full Godfather, like you're in the Godfather in one of those spaghetti
Or
restaurants. where everyone's
puree
about to get
all of
shot.
your food and suck it through a straw.
No. This is a business opportunity, you guys, and maybe Zoe can get in on this action, right? So she's talking about it in a broad sense. Let's go specific with the food on your front or something on your face. Could we make adult bibs a thing? I don't want it to be obviously a bib. So it's like, let's call it a bib, but make it fashion and functional.
I see. So like a Velcro bandana-y scarf thing that you just put on to eat, catches a few things. Or you
Highly
could
washable.
Or can I just got this?
What are you pointing out? Is it something really obvious?
Why don't you why are you getting all these stains on your front? Like, can't you just eat more like
No.
neatly?
I try
Well,
every
she's
time.
eating hot sauce all the time. If she's eating hot
Oh,
sauce all the time, it's probably going
she's got her
everywhere.
mouth open going,
She's in pain. She's like a dragon.
There are some things that I'm on a mission to improve, right? Some levels of self-awareness that I'm like, yeah, I'm working on that. The food thing, I've tried. We get nowhere. It's possibly
Okay,
one step forward, 0 steps forward, many steps back. That is how it is. Like, there's just food down my front, and that's the end
Do
of
you know
it.
what's weird? I have never noticed that. But then again, I'm not really in the business of noticing things like that, I think.
I am a filthy animal, but as you said, Bunsen, we're all about ourselves, and I'm pleased to hear that you haven't noticed that. Maybe that's why we're friends.
It's probably because
we've all been a bit trained not to look at each other's boobs too, because I mean that's kind of rude, right? You don't like kind of stare at people's boobs, but when you do, there's often a little shelf of Vita-Weats and.
Someone I know has called it titty litter, which I do not like, but it's accurate, I suppose.
it's disgusting.
I know, I fucking hate it. Anyway.
Right.
Listen, I have been a victim of people not saying things to me, but I've also been a victim of people saying things to me. Like
Same. I've been in both camps. Which do you prefer in reference to Zoe's question?
I don't know. I mean, I do. One of the biggest ones I remember was when I sort of used to swim a lot of laps and am quite blessed with quite a hirsute hairy covering. Healthy hair, a lot of hair. And
Quattro pity.
4 pits, 2 at the bikini line and 2 under my arms. and I remember, this was in a phase where I was not doing anything about that hair. I had on some manky old Speedos. I was putting on my swimming cap, and this woman in the changing room said, excuse me, you've just got some hair sticking out of the bottom.
Wow, that's very personal.
And I was like, oh, the bottom of the
Cap?
swimming cap. Why do you even care, dude? Like, yeah, thanks. And so I just went, oh, thanks. And then she was kind of like, no, out of the bottom. And I was kind of like, bottom of what? I don't know that. And then eventually she just pointed at my bikini line and I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's supposed to be there.
I love that liberation.
I think that's great. I think that's sisterhood. I like that.
I think you guys were sort of in different hemispheres in terms of how you viewed these things. So it's like what she thought was uncouth, you were like, no, this is totally couth. Like, this is intentional and you're the one who's seeing this incorrectly. So that can be a tricky thing. But I sort of think that's at the heart of some of this. Like the eye makeup thing, I'm like, women smudge eye makeup all the time. You're
in Ghana, West Africa. Isn't it kind of hot there?
Yeah,
like,
she said it was.
I think she's a brave woman wearing makeup at all.
Yeah, I think it was in the heat. She said it smudged in the heat, which I think, let it be.
Yeah. I'm in two minds about it because sometimes I've had situations like when I was rehearsing that play and I was wearing a white dress and then
Which play?
Got to the years ago, I was rehearsing this play called Secret Bridesmaids Business. And so it was all female cast generally, except for this one guy.
Yeah.
And we had a rehearsal day. And then at the end of this rehearsal day, we had to go and, as part of this publicity, go and get dressed in bridal outfits as part of Fashion Week for the bridal show.
Oh.
And it was going to be this sort of cross-promotional, hilarious thing where the actors got dressed up in these bridesmaids dresses at the Hilton or something. I get to the Hilton and I've ridden my bike in my little summer white dress and I have a huge period stain down the back of my white dress that I don't realize until I get to the Hilton into the bathroom. And I'm just like, oh God, no one said anything. Why didn't anyone say anything? This must have happened before I even got to rehearsals, but no one felt comfortable enough to say anything. Like maybe it was in the first week or something. Usually actors are pretty like open. So that was a moment where I was like, oh my God, I wish someone had said something, because now I'm like in the Hilton scrubbing my undies and in the sink, over the marble El Baño. And I was struggling. But other times I've appreciated when people said, oh, you got a bit of spinach here. Yeah. And I can never get it. They're always like, no, the teeth over. No, the teeth over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And that's actually quite nice. But then some people, I think, do it as a sort of a little bit of a power play.
Yeah,
Like
this
I know
is what I'm
one person
thinking.
in particular who every single time or a lot of times that they see you, they'll go, "Oh, you've got just here. You've got something just here. Or you've got something just here. Or you've got something here." Like and
And
you
I'm
just
just
go,
like, yeah, no, that's
My
that's
face.
my face. It's called
"That's
my
my
face.
it's called a nose."
It's
Exactly.
called an unpigmented cyst
Or a freckle.
or a
Yeah.
freckle.
I know. And some part of me wants to go, fix your own face, mate. Like there's something that makes me really arc up about it. It really rubs me up the wrong way because it's a little bit of a power play. It's like you're feeling quite confident. You're walking in. And it's usually when you've walked into a social situation and they go, "Oh, you've just got," and it's this sort of quite maternal, motherly
Lint.
kind of
No.
vibe.
Lint picky.
And then, yeah, exactly. And you're like, just don't put in it. It's just a sort of very proprietorial.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's like I'm the boss of beauty and fashion, and here's what you're
Mm.
doing wrong. I've had my
And
own mother point out a mole on my face and go, "You've got something on your face." I'm like, "It is a mole. How do you not know my own face?"
You gave it to me, actually.
It's your fault. It can be a bit of a like shaming technique. I think in the case of a
Yeah.
period stain, it's like awkwardness, but I think you can tell
Yeah.
people.
I mean, I don't blame those guys for not telling me, but I still was
No,
like, oh God.
someone should have told you because it was pertinent to the situation, like you were going to be publicly there and you needed to get it off, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
What about you, Hannaford? Have you had any of these
Oh, yeah. I mean,
experiences?
I often have clothes inside out because I'm
Mm.
Yeah,
wearing
me
a
too.
lot of black, and so you can't really
Yeah.
tell sometimes. You're getting dressed in semi-darkness. No, I'm thinking of a time I was at a conference, and there's often these little stalls where they're doing like a little promotion in order to get you to go over and talk about their product, which of course I never want to do, but sometimes I'm interested in what they're offering, which in this case was a massage. And so I was
Oh,
wearing a
right.
shirt, and I was sort of mid-massage, very relaxed, and then an older lady.
When you were mid-massage, were you lying down in a
No,
chair?
in a chair, so
Yep.
upright. But an older lady. So sometimes I think that this can be more of a generational idea of what's couth. Came over and she was really sort of trying to be quite subtle, and she was lovely. She kind of came over like she was a friend and said, "Oh, your button is kind of coming undone." I think it was a mid button. And she said, "Are we allowed to say that?" I went, "Yeah, of course." And she said it in such a lovely way. She wasn't trying to shame me. She was genuinely trying to be helpful. And I, of course, didn't really give a shit, except that my colleagues were over the way taking photos of me. Dickheads. Anyway, I might cut that out. And I thought, yeah, that's lovely. And I think that it can be done in a way. I think it's all about the intention and what you think the other person might like. I think if you get hands-on with people, I absolutely hate that. And when it's unsolicited advice or things that aren't actually true, like someone pointing out, like Caroline, what you're saying, something on your face when it is in fact just your face and they're being a bit of a fuckwit, not cool.
I just feel like going like that when they say
this
that.
is what
I
I've
just
got on
feel
my
like-
face, which is me
Yeah.
flipping you the bird.
Yeah.
Yep, scratching my face with my middle finger. Fuck you.
It's a
so-
little bullying. That's what it is. It's slightly bullying tactic. It's a bit teenage, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is like the very highly articulated hierarchy of high school, where it's like, I know stuff, you don't know stuff. Here's some stuff that you're getting wrong, and like eye makeup on the face is not getting it wrong. In answer to your question, Zoe, that is just like the female experience, and I would politely let that go. No biggie if I saw that.
Mate, I'd be like Tim Minchin. He's built a career out of it, out of so much makeup.
Yeah.
I'd be embracing it. Why, again, does it work for men and not for women? I just don't understand.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know whether we answered Zoe's question, but we gave it a red hot go. And
I think it's tell them if you care.
If you care, and tell them in a caring way.
Yes. And actually maybe just take them aside and
just tell them if you think they'll care. It's not who gives a shit if you care.
Do you know what? That's right, Bunsen. Tell them if you think they will care.
That's nice. Yeah. That's much nicer, actually.
Well, listen, I want to do something a little bit different here. This is a very quick fire round, and this is more of an interplay.
Are you ready?
With the couth. This is something where they get to know us a little bit better through something that you guys probably don't have a lot of awareness about because you're not active on Instagram, as far as we know, Bunsen. I don't know what you're doing on Instagram. Perhaps
Nothing.
You're an influencer and you've got millions of followers.
Nothing.
I forgot my password, but I'll be back on.
There's something that's been doing the rounds, and it's a little screenshot where there's two lists. Are you this? Are you that?
Oh, I like those ones. Excellent.
So, are you this or that? Introvert, extrovert? Bunsen, go.
Ambivert.
Oh, wow. You're breaking the binary as we speak. I love it. Caroline.
I think I'm an extrovert actually, but I'm not as extroverted as other people in my life.
So, Bunsen, do you want to give an explanation of ambivert? Because I'm not sure whether I am or
Well,
not.
I actually, and Caroline, I would posit this as something that you may
I
also
think I'm
relate
probably
to,
an ambivert, yeah.
which is that you do get energy, because an extrovert is someone who gets a lot of energy from other people, and they get that's what kind of like
drives them.
fuels them,
Mm.
right? And I definitely get an energy from being from other people, but I also really need my time alone. Like I need to, I do also find that exhausting. So it's not, anyway, so that's why maybe it is just, that is actually just an introvert who kids themselves that sometimes they're an extrovert. I don't know. But anyway.
I think I'm an introvert. I think I've understanding the true meaning of that. I have thought ambivert, but I definitely think introvert. Okay. Lefty, righty.
Left.
Right.
Right.
You're a left-hander.
Well, I was born left-handed, but then my parents beat me and made me write with my right hand.
Okay. Well, I'm left wing, so maybe that counts too. Okay. Next one.
Are you serious?
Simple glam.
I broke my left hand and I then had to learn to write with my right
We're
hand.
on to the next one, guys. We're trying to do rapid fire. Come on.
Okay. What is it? What's the question?
Simple glam.
Simple.
Glam.
Glam. Okay.
No, I'm simple. I'm simply glam.
I love that. Okay, let's come on.
It's meant to be fun.
I don't know why I'm saying rapid fire.
There's nothing rapid about this.
We'll never be rapid. Rain or sunshine?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Rain.
God, you've just been contrary. Early bird, night owl.
Early bird.
Early bird.
Night out, night in.
Night in.
Yeah.
Night out for me.
Night in.
I don't do it, but I love it.
Night in. Well, it's winter in Melbourne. What can you say? It's got to be night in.
I just bought an electric blanket, man. That's all I've got to say. I've turned it on now. I'm warming up so I can lie down after we've talked.
I do like a night out. Actually, I'm a night out.
Yeah.
I'll go for a walk. I like to look in people's windows with their lights on.
Oh, I know the curtain twitching.
Yeah, you're a pervert under the cover of darkness. Calls, texts.
Texts.
Calls.
Always
late, always early.
Always late.
Always early. Couldn't even look at you as I
Liar.
said that.
I don't know if I have ever, listen, I never thought that I was always late, but the other day I had the experience of arriving before someone else, and it was pointed out to me and I also had the thought that had never actually happened before. So I am always late.
You're always early, Victoria.
On time-ish, I think.
Whenever we're doing this, that you're
I'm
always
late.
waiting.
All right, I'm always
you're
late.
always waiting for us.
Okay.
We're just quite leisurely, aren't we, Caroline?
That's all right. This isn't a job.
We're getting dog crap up our hands. Would you prefer I had it on my hand? Huh?
Well, that's pertinent to the next one. Okay, excuse me. Rapid fire. Come on. Focus.
Dogs.
Dog person, cat person. Exactly.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Bunsen. Love that.
Dogs.
Yeah,
Dog
dogs.
person. I fucking hate cats. I know this is a controversial opinion. I don't like them. Okay? Cancel me right now. That's the hill I die on. Okay.
They're too much like you, Victoria.
Dreamer or realist?
Realist.
You're a
That's
dreamer,
hard.
Caroline.
Yeah, I'm a dreamer. I'm sorry.
I'm a realistic dreamer.
I'm a dreamer, actually.
Yeah, we're both dreamers.
Okay. Walking, driving.
Oh my God, is that even a question?
Biking.
Walking.
Walking for the planet.
Walking and biking.
Okay. And here's the one that I really want to know about. Get even or get over it?
Get over it.
Get even.
Yeah, I'm get even.
Do you know what? Getting over it is the best form of getting even.
Getting even, yeah. I thought you were
My
gonna say
version
that,
of getting even is often quite sort of distanced, let's say. It's a bit esoteric. Sometimes
No one would even notice that you've gotten even except for you.
Exactly. What I might do is I really want to
Fuck someone's shit up.
fuck someone's shit up, I might put their name in the freezer.
What? Like literally? Like you write it down, you put it
Yeah.
in the freezer, and you like get some voodoo shit
And
on,
you
voodoo
know-
ice on it.
Yep. And do you know what?
What?
It's worked.
Really? Is that why I've been feeling chills up and down my spine?
Can you reveal
You'll never
anything
know.
more about this? Because that is fucking batshit crazy.
She's got a full ice tray that she cracks.
It's something I learned from a professional mentor,
Yeah.
aka boss,
Yeah.
who we had another boss who needed to be frozen in their tracks. And so the advice was put their name in the freezer.
Oh man, where are they getting this advice
And
from?
then what
That's-
happened?
You know what? That's
And
the
then
internet.
they were no longer in that position. You do the math.
They were frozen
Science, cause and
out.
effect.
Was it a piece of paper?
It was a piece of paper.
Where's the piece of paper?
I think it remains in the freezer. There were two people's names.
You want to find your name on it? Is it Caroline Craig?
I'm just going to go and have a look in your freezer next time I come over.
There were two people's
Next time I
names.
get a gin and tonic, I'll be like, why is my name on that?
And I will say, I don't want to reveal too much about what we were hoping would happen, but it happened.
Damn.
Is that getting even though, or is that just weird?
In my mind, it's getting even.
Okay,
In
good.
your mind, it's weird. Everyone feels okay about it. It's indirect action. It's a dirty protest of sorts.
Fight the fight, Victoria. You got to fight it any way you can.
All right. Well, this is a pertinent moment to move to our So Uncouth of the Week.
Mhm.
Perhaps there are parts of the world that won't get over it and are very intent on getting even. And I would like to draw your attention to North Korea have been dropping garbage on South Korea in retaliation for their propaganda drops. So in short, South Korea has warned residents living near the border after reports of balloons carrying trash from North Korea were detected. I would like to just point out that is from ABC.
What kind of trash?
Some carrying excrement.
Whoa.
So it's pretty next level.
Maybe that's what I should have done with that dog poo. I should have got a balloon.
That's pretty next level when you're talking about a neighbour dispute, and it's in retaliation for South Koreans sending propaganda over the border. So they will drop leaflets,
Like leafleting.
Sometimes they blast K-pop at the border in order to let the North Koreans know that there is a world outside of the regime in which they live.
Of bad beats, of amazing kick-ass beats.
I love the mind fuck of it all. Like
Yeah.
North Korea's like, you do that, we do this. We're dropping dirty
We're
protests.
dropping
on-
poo, you're dropping Gangnam Style. That's what's
and,
happening.
and who knows what we could do next? It's like, what's that falling from the sky? Could it be a leaflet? Could it be some message of peace? No. It's a poop bomb on your head.
I just think when you said it's next level for a neighbour dispute, I was kind of like, can you imagine? I mean, if that's one country doing that to another country, but can you imagine if you did that just to next door? Like,
Well, Caroline, have you done that to next door? Because I feel like you've had a few neighbour disputes.
We've got lovely neighbours. No, there's music lessons happening next door. That's enough. Okay. I know better than to challenge that.
Well, look, I do want to say that we do not have any listeners in South or North Korea.
Actually, Callum's going to Korea next week.
Well, he needs to work on South. I'm going to work on North.
Okay.
I'm going to work on getting a balloon of So Uncouth over the border. Maybe
leaflets.
Did you say
It's gotta be
wee?
some
I don't
kind
want a wee in a balloon. That's not cool.
No.
We as in us.
As in So
sorry.
Uncouth.
Right.
Maybe we could be the force that liberates North Korea.
Ah.
The So Uncouth way. And maybe that can be a whistle stop on our global tour.
I love that idea.
Yeah. We've got love to give.
Can we go in a balloon?
That's the only way to travel.
Yeah, okay, good.
There's a lot of hot air balloons around here. I reckon we could do that.
Hang on. We're just hot air. Like that's literally all we are.
And you can rely on Bunsen to power it in
There's
an
no-
emergency.
Yeah, that's it. I knew you had a purpose. The purpose of the Bunsen.
Look out for So Uncouth in a hot air balloon near you. And on that note, I will cop use the whole wide world later.
Copies later.
Copies later.
Or should I say,
Are you going to say something in Spanish?
well, I was going to try and say copies later in another language and I realised I couldn't.
No.
Adios.
Yeah, ciao, ciao.
Adios, muchachos.
So